Hello, welcome to Daily News from Jawad TV. Members of Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi honor civil defense officials in Baghdad and Najaf. Some members of the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Holy Najaf, directed by Sayyid Haider al-Hajjar, the PR manager of the Grand Jurist, honored the efforts and activities by the Civil Defense Department in Najaf and Baghdad. It is worth noting that Colonel Rashid Thabet Rashid, the head of the Civil Defense Department in Holy Najaf, and Brigadier Qadim Salman, his counterpart in Baghdad, have supervised numerous programs to combat coronavirus pandemic and its side effects in Iraq. Ali Yasin Husayniya runs 6th round of charity work in Iran. Ali Yasin Husayniya, affiliated to the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Sydney, Australia, carried out the 6th round of his charity works in Iran. In this charity work, which was conducted in cooperation with the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Tehran, large numbers of food baskets were given out to needy and low-income households in the Iranian capital. Many centers and offices affiliated to the Grand Jurist Ayatollah Shirazi in different parts of the world have begun series of charitable programs to assist vulnerable families during the coronavirus pandemic across the world. Nonviolence Incorporation worried over flare-up along Armenia-Azerbaijan border. Following the outbreak of skirmishes along the Armenia-Azerbaijan border, Nonviolence Incorporation published a statement that reads as follows. Nonviolence Incorporation is closely monitoring the rising tensions in the borderline between Armenia and Azerbaijan and is seriously worried of this critical situation to spiral out of control. This human rights organization demands the authorities in Armenia and Azerbaijan to keep their nations from the repercussions of a devastating war which is looming over the borderline between the two countries. Furthermore, Nonviolence Incorporation insists for the conflict and disagreements to be resolved by dialogue and negotiations. This statement also reads, Nonviolence Incorporation urges the government of Armenia and Azerbaijan to be mindful of the fate of the people involved in these conflicts, keeping in mind the social, economic, and environmental consequences of being drawn into a bloody war. It is needless to say that neither side of a war wins the war, especially with consideration of the loss of lives, the spilled blood, and damages caused by military solutions to crises. Furthermore, Nonviolence Incorporation calls on the authorities in Armenia and Azerbaijan to submit to the international regulations or a neutral third country to resolve their differences if they are unable to reach a viable solution through bilateral talks. It should be clear that in times of conflict, the intervention of third parties or the international community can help avoid the threats of war and killing. Imam Hussein Institute mourns martyrdom of Imam Jawad, peace be upon him, in Turkey. Imam Hussein Cultural Institute, affiliated to the Office of the Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Istanbul, the Turkish capital, commemorated the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Jawad, peace be upon him. The religious commemoration was attended by groups of Shia believers and the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them.